It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So excited to hang out with all of you today. I'll give you just a couple seconds to pop on. So if you are joining me live, then go ahead and give me a thumbs up or a comment. Let me know that you're here. The weather was so nice yesterday for the end of October, and it's turned a little colder today. So I'm happy that we had warm weather yesterday for Halloween, for those that celebrate Halloween. So kind of a different holiday for us as our kids get older and kids are out and about doing their own things. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Sharon. Hi, everyone. Okay, so it's November 1st, you guys. Can you believe it? It's November 1st. I can't believe we're in November already. Like, where does the time go? Hi, Rosie. So, yeah, I don't know where the time goes. We are 2 months away from 2023, which is so weird. And so the weather here, at least in Utah, is turning colder. And I'm in my sweater. It's sweater weather, friends. Sweater weather. And I'm starting to think about, now that it's November, Thanksgiving is coming up for those of us in the US, or autumn. And so I'm using some of the products from the mini catalog to create a place setting, like some decor for a place setting. So regardless if you celebrate Thanksgiving or not, it's really kind of generic, because y'all know that I'm pretty generic about things like this. And so I'm going with some traditional Sarah colors on this, but I thought I would share, and then I'd love to see what all of you do with this idea. Feel free to copy and share anything that I show on my Tuesday lives. I'm doing this because hopefully it's beneficial for all of you. Idea sharing is great, and I'm happy if you copy and share everything, any ideas. So, and feel free to share them with anyone who you think might like them. So I'm going to flip my camera around and show you what I'm working with today. Hi, Angela. Okay, I'm gonna flip my camera around and we'll get started. Okay, so we've got, here we go, make sure you can see what there we go. Okay, so I'm going to be using just some designer series paper from the Rustic Harvest Sweet Collection. And I'm actually using the bundle as well, because I'm gonna use some of the stamps. So we've got the bundle first. This is Hello Harvest. So it's kind of a line art. I like this solid image right here. I'm gonna actually be using this. And then, of course, the coordinating dies. So I'm going to use the coordinating die for the leaf as well. But you get some of these really cool embossed parts and different things you can use with the imagery in that set. So love this stamp set and bundle. So I've got that. I'm going to use, of course, the leaf. This is what I'm using for my little place setting. And then I'm using this designer series paper, which is really beautiful. Let me show it to you. So it's kind of like a chalk artistic look. I think I've shared it before, but we've got kind of this colored side, and I've seen some really pretty things done with blends, like you can color these pumpkins in. Got some different colors, kind of the mirrored image designer series paper for cards. I've seen this on cards. It looks really pretty. We've got all of our gourds and squash and pumpkins and all the things on this one. Then we've got some patterns and then some swirls. So this is what I call the colored side. Now, you know that I'm a sucker for anything black and white, and so I love this designer series paper because when you flip it over, this is the side I like. It's not going to shock anyone of you watching if you've watched any of my lives or you understand the things that I like. I love black and white. And so even if you don't love the colored side, which is beautiful also, then this is why I bought the paper. This is why I'm using the paper, is for the black and white side. And I'm actually going to use some of the generic pieces, but you can use any of them. So this will work with any of these designs. And I've got the measurements that are really super simple to create a napkin ring and some place settings. And so let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to use, I guess it doesn't really matter, you can use any of them, but I'll use this one on top. And the idea is that I'm going to create a napkin ring. And so I want to be able to create a number of them because, you know, I'm gonna have some people over for dinner. And so I'm cutting at 6 inches so I can cut the sheet in half. I want to maximize the designer series paper. And then I'm going to cut each side. So 6 by 3 is what I'm looking to do. So 6 by 3. Where's my blade? There it is. So I'm going to be able to get 8 out of one sheet. And so depending on how many people I have coming over for dinner, I can make these, or if I have a number of different occasions or parties or whatever this season, then I can make more of them. So I've got a stack of those, and then I can use some other designs as well. But for now, that just shows you how easy it is to make 8 napkin rings, and I'll show you how I'm accessorizing those. So I've got a piece or a sheet of basic white as well, and I've cut that down to 2 inches because that's what will fit my leaf right here. And so I'm going to use some Versamark on this one and some gold embossing. I know you all are shocked that I'm using black, white, and gold. You're not shocked at all. Okay, so I'm going to stamp just a row of these so that I can emboss them en masse. So we'll just stamp, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to cut it out, but you get the idea. I just want to leave enough space so that I can die cut them. You get the idea. And we'll put some embossing powder on there. I could have even gone a little closer, actually. There we go. So I'll emboss that, and then I'm going to, there we go. There's the one I've done. So this is embossed. So we just heat up that embossing powder, and it's kind of magical, but I didn't plug in my heat tool. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. Embossing is like one of my favorite techniques. And then I'm going to pull in my mini machine here. And so you're going to do a few passes on the mini machine, but it's the perfect size, and it's small, and you can carry it wherever you need to go. Here's the trick. Just stagger your plates so that you can feed it through the machine. It won't get stuck, or it'll go through a little easier. So let's see, I'll line this up. And then I can kind of go back and forth through the machine. If you're worried about this, you can use a piece of washi tape. I'm not overly concerned about it because I'm kind of going for an eclectic look anyway. And so we'll just roll this through. And then I'll just pull off the top plate, and then I can reposition and go back through the machine. So I'm just going to go back and forth. There we go. So I get a number of these leaves. You get the idea. I just am going to use these 2 for now. But they turn out like just, they're beautiful. Let me show them to you. So I've kind of got these leaves that are all shiny and gold and pretty. And then I'm just going to grab a piece of that, of my little napkin ring for that. And I'm going to attach this. So you can use Seal or Seal Plus or glue or whatever you want. I think this is Seal, so I'll probably double it up. And I just want to overlap it about 1 inch. See, I've got some tape right here. Do you guys see how much I put on there? I don't want it to come apart. So what your adhesive of choice, and I'll just line that up and press the ends together. And then I'm going to use the shimmer ribbon. This is gold. And then I'm going to wrap it around a couple times. And then I can tie a little knot or a bow, probably a bow. So I need some more length. Hold please. Maybe I'll do it only once. Okay. You get the idea. So you can customize this however you want. It'd be easier if I had my napkin in here, but I don't. So I'm going to actually tie a knot first. Then I can tie a bow. Does anyone else do that? So you don't have to fuss with it.
Someone wanted to know, do you also need to stagger the plates with a regular machine?
Not as much. So the question was, do I need to stagger the plates with the regular machine? You can, but in terms of the mini machine, for some reason, it just makes it easier because there's less surface area to go across there. So I just stagger the mini more than I do the larger one. Okay, so that's just a little trick. Okay, so I've got my little bow in here and it's kind of layered. So I've got just the wrap, and then I'm just going to tuck with some glue dots up here under my ribbon. I'm going to move this up. Make sure you can see this. So I want it to be toward the top. And then I'll grab some little mini glue dots. I'm not going to do that right now because you get the idea. And this becomes my little napkin ring. That's really cute. Now, this one is designed for napkins that are white. And here's one. I have actually black napkins, so I can use my black napkins in here and it'll accent it nicely. So I'll have some different place settings in alternating patterns for these, and they're so simple. Like you saw how simple that was to put together. So I've got my napkin rings, but then I can also do some of the same measurements. So I can do some 3x4. Let me show you this. Okay. So I've got some little name placards, and you can use, this one is actually, make sure I've got this right. Yeah, 3x6. So it's the same kind of measurement. If you want to keep it simple, it's 3x6. So that can be your name tag. And then same thing, I just added a little bit of the craft cardstock, and that's 3/4 by 3. So I'm leveraging the measurements and the size of my paper. This one is a little bit different. I like the smaller version too, and if you want a square end, you can do that and maybe just a knot. So whether you do the knot or a bow, whatever you choose. This one is 3x4, folded in half. So the 3 inches is always on the bottom. This one's just a little taller. So you could do this for like labeling your food on Thanksgiving or at any other kind of celebration or party. But this way everything coordinates, and you can really use any of the designer series paper to create these cards and place settings. So you have all of these different options, and the leaves are really pretty with it. Some kind of these, like all of them would work. So whatever, like I figure I'm just going to use a package of designer series paper, and I probably won't even use a full pack because I'll have everything I need. I could probably just use one each, one each of the 6, or gosh, it depends on how many people I have coming to my house. So anyway, that's the idea for how to create your place settings. You can label them, use the ribbon. So really all you need the bundle. You need some embossing powder, some of the basics. I'm sure you'll have some of this on hand, but the bundle is really beautiful. If you don't have the bundle or you're picking and choosing, the DSP is some of my favorite. You can use any other autumn stamps that you have to cut them out, but they're really simple. So that's my plan for Thanksgiving to decorate my table, because I've got these really beautiful dishes that are white and gold, and I have black napkins and black silverware, and so it'll all just coordinate because this is my vibe. You know this is my vibe. Okay, Alexis, do we have any questions?
Just a quick reminder, which set is this?
Okay, so the set that I'm using is actually a bundle. This is Hello Harvest, and I'm just using the leaf down here in the bottom corner, and then the corresponding dies, the rustic pumpkin dies. So I just use the leaf for that, this little leaf that coordinates. So you can use the pumpkin and emboss the pumpkin if you want to, and have the pumpkin show up on your little place cards. You can use the florals and color them, have some pops of color, or just emboss them in gold. I think that would be really pretty too. So there are lots of really great images in this set. If you wanted to simplify, you could just do a folded piece of craft and stamp some gold sunflowers in the corner. Like, you have lots of different options. So really kind of basic and elegant and simple, which is, you know, my thing. It's my thing.
There was a question that we've gotten a bit about how we choose which sets are photopolymer and which are regular.
Okay, great question. So how do we choose which sets are photopolymer and which sets are cling? So someone in product could answer this much better than I am. It has to do with detail in some cases. It has to do with our mix. It has to do with, you know, two-stepping and that kind of thing. This one is a cling stamp, which I love the rubber. You get a really good image. It stamps different than a photopolymer stamp. So it just depends, I guess. How's that for a non-scientific answer? Someone else in product can respond more officially. But there is a method to our madness when we are deciding which one's cling and which one is photopolymer. So there's that. I don't know if I answered that well enough, but thank you for asking. The detail is better. You are right. I'm looking at Laura. Yeah, the detail is a little bit better on the cling because the rubber forms and is made differently than the photopolymer. And so your image is a little bit more crisp, in my opinion. For some images that matters, for some images it doesn't. So they take all of that into consideration. And I think they take into consideration like what tools go with it, because rubber tends to shrink differently than photopolymer, and it still has to be able to fit within some of the different tools and the different cuts. And so I think they take that into account as well. So lots of different things are taken into account when we decide. Great question. All right, let me flip my camera around. Okay. So fun and quick and easy. Thank you all for joining me today so that I can get more of my place settings done before the holiday. And if you're getting ready for On Stage, if you are a demonstrator, that's coming up next week, On Stage Live and On Stage Locals. So we're so excited about that. I'm gearing up for that and so excited to see many of you in person. So I would love to see what you do or what your variations are on this kind of a place setting. So let me know. I'll post in stories some of the measurements if you missed them. Normally I write them on my little grid sheet and I didn't do that today. I don't know, is that helpful if I write it down? Then you can see it while we're watching the video. I'll put it in stories so that you can see what the measurements are. So what would you write on the inside of the place setting cards? I don't write anything on them, but you could do like what you're thankful for that person or what something you love about them. Really, I just want to put it by their plate so they know where to sit. So that's my vote, but you could get all kinds of creative with that. Great question. And traditions, you know, we all have our different traditions that we do maybe for Thanksgiving or for different holidays and gatherings. And so it's kind of fun to be able to decorate the table. So really simple and easy and straightforward, and I'll have these made for my family in no time. It'll be pretty quick. So everyone, I hope you have a wonderful week. And oh yes, Mary, you like it when I put the measurements on the grid paper. Okay, I will do that next time. Until then, I will pop them into stories or highlights so that you can see them either on Instagram or Facebook so that you know what measurements I was working with. Okay? All right, everybody, have a good one, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.